As a consumer, how can CARFAX help me?
Well, it can help you tremendously. Number one thing CARFAX will do is provide you a lot of information. The information that you can use to making a sound decision. How it can help you is give you a lot of valuable information about a vehicle that you're about to purchase, which we'll go into in a few minutes, to let you know that way you can make that decision according to your preference.
Can a CARFAX hurt me at all?
Yeah, it can hurt you. It can hurt you if you buy a car that has a certain damage to a car and then that you weren't aware of. Also, it can hurt you is making a decision that you are turned off by a certain information on the CARFAX, which may be a fiction or may not be a fact, and that you don't end up buying that vehicle because you stayed away from it because CARFAX said such and such about the vehicle, and it may not be true or may not be all true, or it may not even matter to you for that information, and you can walk away by only getting half the information. So that's how it can hurt you.
I've seen like salvage titled on CARFAX.
Well,
what is that?
Salvage is something that if you insure a car, for instance, you have a car, you insure it, and you get in an accident. Unfortunate things do happen, and the insurance company calls it. Say the car value is $10,000, and you have $8,000 damage. Insurance company will say, you know what? We're going to total this car, and we're going to give you the $10,000. We're going to take that car. That car goes back to the insurance company, then they sell it to the salvage yard. That's why it's called salvage yard, and that's why it's called salvage, obviously, because at that point that car is no longer safe for the street, or for you to keep driving that car or fixing it, for that matter.
Explain flood damage. I've seen that before.
A flood is, everybody heard of Katrina. The catastrophe they have over there. We did in New Orleans. Sad situation. That is a perfect scenario. The cars go underwater. If it's above, if it goes above your doors, fresh water, whether it's salt water or whatever it is, there's a damage done that it just can't be reversed. You get a lot of wirings in your car. The carpet, underneath the carpet, there's all wirings underneath the hood. So once that's done, I would definitely recommend, if you see a flood damage on a CARFAX report, I would stay away from it, because I don't think it's a good idea to buy that car, because it's inevitable something will happen and it's going to go bad sooner or later. So I would stay away from that.
One thing I've seen before, which you might be able to touch on, is what the odometer discrepancy, rollback on the odometer.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. See, the odometer discrepancy, especially these newer type of vehicles right now, we were talking about it earlier, how these new digital odometers and everything, there's so many computers in the car, you really can't, there's no such thing as rollback anymore. So I don't know, CARFAX should change their wording. The term wording on there is rollback. There is no such thing as rollback anymore, unless you go back to a real old car. It's going to happen, because all the mileage are recording into the computer. So you have to be really, really sophisticated in order for you to roll it back. You just can't really roll it back anymore. You can't drive backwards, so mileage going to go back. And the other thing, discrepancy happens most often, which is very common in CARFAX, and make sure you don't let that steer you away from the vehicle of your choice, is when you see odometer discrepancy, a lot of time in a shop. So you walk into a shop and there's a lazy technician, something like that, he takes the car, you tell him how many miles on the car, 40,000, he just puts down 40,000 even miles. Or your car may have 39,890, you may think it's 40, but it's the exact mileage. So what happens is, he puts down 40,000 miles, although your odometer says 39,000 and something, very close to 40, but it's not exactly 40. And then you go, for instance, another week later, you go to another shop that services your car, and the car still has 39,000. Now, instead of 890, it has maybe 950. And now they put that exact mileage in there, so now it's going to look like it has a rollback odometer. Now, in turn, all it was a mistake by somebody who entered the information. Somebody was too lazy to go out there and get the exact mileage off the car, and that's what prevented from discrepancy. So a lot of time it's that. So just make sure that's not what it is. Look at the record. Look at what it says with the odometer discrepancy. Oh, rollback possible. There's no rollback. It's just a pure mistake, and also a laziness of a person who entered the mileage on it. So newer vehicle, I wouldn't be worried about it too much.
Now, if I see an accident on the CARFAX, do you think that's something I should stay away from?
Well, it's an interesting question. Accident is, they happen every single day. That's why there's a body shop in every corner. Things happen, depends how it happened. We talked about the salvage. If it happens beyond the repair, of course the car's going to be gone anyway. But as far as the accident is concerned, if there's a little fender bender, if there's a damage done on it, it doesn't make it a bad car. I mean, give you an example. You bought a brand new car, okay, and you get an accident a week later, and you had to replace the bumper or fender. Guess what? That's a $2,000 damage minimum, maybe $2,500 damage. But there's not much done to it. And then what are you supposed to do with the car? Throw it away? You can't throw it away. It's still a perfectly nice car. It just had an accident. That's why it's called an accident. Things happen. But that doesn't make it a bad car. But if you see an accident on the CARFAX, what I would do is, especially if the car looks nice, it looks clean, drives nice, goes down the road straight, what I would do is I would take it to your mechanic, trusted mechanic, have him check it out for a little peace of mind. And that way, you can actually get a better deal sometime from a dealership when a car has a little bit of an accident on, they shows an accident, because, again, maybe little thing's going to get reported. So that doesn't make it a bad deal. I would, matter of fact, if I was picking a car, I would pick a car with a smaller fender bender on it, because that way the dealership is able to give you a better deal on it, because they know they got to move the car, and some people may stay away from it, so it's going to help you, get a good deal on that particular car.
One thing I'm not sure of is if I get into an accident, how does that get reported on the CARFAX?
Well, you get in an accident, it gets reported only if you report it to the insurance company, and also if you report it in the police department, and that's the only way. Otherwise, it doesn't get reported. See, if you get an accident in a parking lot, and somebody just hit your bumper cover or fender, and you fix it yourself, you pay it out of your pocket, guess what? That does not get reported. So it gets reported once you have an insurance claim, once you have an accident report done, then it gets reported. So otherwise, it doesn't get reported.
Yeah. Now I've seen, when shopping for a car, when the CARFAX reports 2 owners or 3 owners, what are your thoughts on that? Should I stay away from that, or?
Well, 2 owners, 3 owners, it really doesn't make a difference. You ask why? Well, I've seen over the past 25 years I've been in this business, I can tell you one thing. I've seen cars with 1 owner, and the guy never changed oil at 30,000 miles. He just kept adding, every time it went low in oil, he kept adding oil. Next thing you know, the engine's really destroyed. It's all full of sludge. It's no good. Now that car was a 1 owner car. And then I've seen cars with 5 owners, and then the oil, you take a look at the oil dipstick, it's clean as a whistle. Now which one you rather have? 1 owner or that 5 owner car? I'd much rather have that 5 owner car, because it doesn't really make a difference. It all depends how the person took care of the car. You can have 5 owners, you can have 1 owner. If the 1 owner doesn't take care of it, what good is it? So that's a myth. You got to really take a look at the car, see how nice it's taken care of, whether it's 1 owner, 2 owner, or 5 owners. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Now lastly, on the CARFAX, if there's no service records, I don't see any. I'm looking for service records. Your thoughts, should I stay away, look for a car with service records? Again,
you can go back to the same thing as far as is concerned as the accident, reporting, all those things. It's about information. Now, if somebody's not a CARFAX dealer, CARFAX certified dealer, I should say, which we are, but if you're not, you go to any reputable, most reputable shops are. If they're not, it's not going to get reported. So when you come to our shop, I know when you do an oil change, when you do an inspection sticker with us, we do all those things. It goes automatically to the CARFAX because we're a CARFAX certified dealer. But if they're not, that doesn't make it a bad deal. It just didn't get reported. That doesn't mean the car wasn't serviced. So I wouldn't worry about that either. Again, go over the condition of the vehicle instead of solely on the CARFAX. CARFAX again provides you with lots of information. You need to see what's important to you, and you can judge. You're smart. You can judge with your own eyes. See what the car looks like. Does it look clean? Does it drive clean? Does it look interior clean? Then the car must be clean. If you have still doubts, have your mechanic check it out. That's what I would recommend. So that's what I think about CARFAX.